Okay, y'all. So first things first, let me know your thoughts on today's new episode down below. Look, Kat done got the doggone napkin. She got Leslie DNA by getting a napkin and she gave it to Jacob. And I'm wondering if they're actually going to throw out the entire case because they gonna know that Kat been the one finding all this evidence and planting evidence and stuff like this. I feel like something gonna go wrong. I feel like something's definitely gonna go wrong. And I still say the Kat should have been a detective instead of, having a company about purses or having purses or whatever. I said, yeah, she over here finding stuff and just getting all type of evidence. But at the same time, I feel like something gonna go wrong because she's involved. He should have been told. I mean, he did tell her, not to get involved. But at the same time, like he's still updating her and stuff like that. I said, you ain't supposed to do that. But yeah. So on today's episode, we're gonna start with Kat and Eva. So Eva decided it was a good idea to come confront Kat about taking the helmet and gloves. And I was like, I don't think you want to. Why would you come and confront her about this? You supposed to at least be like, I ain't know nothing about it or something like that. Sorry, y'all. Excuse me. She done came. Not only did she come to confront Kat about, the helmet and gloves, she was saying you the only one that would do something like this, and she's talking about some her mama this and her mama that, and basically her mama not somebody she want to mess with, despite being knocked down. She always gets up and all this other stuff. I was like, girl, I don't think you're supposed to be defending your mama about this situation. Come on now. I said, come on now, hey. What did y'all think of the episode? Did y'all like it? Let me know down below. Do y'all think that the case is going to get thrown out because of Kat or what? Let me know. Cause Leslie's been studying saying restraining orders. She's been studying saying how Kat is over here doing this and that or whatever, just trying to bring awareness to what she's doing. I was like, yeah, seems like they foreshadowing what's to come. Like something is gonna happen to the point. Cause I don't see her going nowhere no time soon unless she actually do something that they witness firsthand. I don't see her going nowhere no time soon. I could be wrong now. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Like I said, she came to confront Kat or whatever, and they was just going back and forth. And she told her she knew she was the one who got the gloves and helmet because she would be the only one to do that. That's when she started defending her mama or whatever. Martin Smitty Zach. Okay, I got a question because during the Martin and Smitty scene, Smitty ends up telling Martin that his editor assigned him a case basically to do a feature on a soon to be retired robbery homicide. They detective dude. Y'all remember that dude? They showed him on today's episode. What they say his name was? Marcel Malone. Marcel Malone, and Martin was looking some type of way. And I said, so is he involved? I feel like he's involved. And not only that, another thing that happened on today's episode that confused me or whatever, Martin acted like he don't remember what happened. He remember like Lord. It kind of seemed like he doesn't remember what happened when he was talking to his mama about everything. And she was asking him if it was something traumatic that happened to him. Does he remember and stuff? The way he was talking, I don't know if he was just saying that so he wouldn't say too much to her or what. But yeah, I was like, does he not remember? But yeah, like I said, Smitty had told him his editor assigned a feature, and he over here again telling this man, can't you talk to your editor, or you should talk to your editor and convince him to give you another assignment. So that would lead me to believe that Marcel Malone is somehow connected. They did say he was doing dirty stuff, that he was a crooked cop or whatever. But at the same time, I'm feeling like Jacob Daddy involved some type of way too. I said it's too many people. It's so many people or whatever. They showed a little bit more in Martin flashback today, but at the same time, you still can't tell what really happened. You still can't tell. Let's see what else. I think not Martin. I think Smitty said something about he couldn't tell him that because he just got that job or whatever. That's when the dude Zach came. The dude Zach ends up telling Martin that Paulo, the owner of a corner store in his district, was robbed and assaulted. So Martin was talking about doing some type of little press release or whatever and just talking and going to see the family and sending flowers and all this other stuff. So he started having flashbacks in the middle of his conversation. And like I said, they showed a little bit more, but not enough for us to really know what's going on. But with them bringing in characters that we've already seen and stuff, I feel like it's only a matter of time. Not to mention this dude is still following him. And he make it obvious. I'm surprised nobody has caught him yet. Soon as he seen Martin, he hurry up and follow him. And I was just waiting on somebody to catch him. Waiting on somebody to catch him or something. Who else we got? Jacob and Marcel was meeting at their place or whatever. Jacob ends up seeing Leslie and he was talking about her or whatever. And then they was just talking about rules and sometimes you gotta take matters into your own hands. And he was like, she don't seem that bad. I said, you can't tell who people is by looking at them. You definitely can't. But yeah, what else? I think Leslie, she seen them or whatever, but she didn't say, she didn't come up to them and talk or anything like that. Um, I think that's when Kat ends up calling him and he was asking what she want now. And I was like, yeah, she gonna be the reason why this case gets thrown out. Either that or that's not gonna be the DNA. They're gonna test it and it's not gonna be her DNA or whatever. But at the same time, they said they was trying to match the DNA to what they said, the inside of the helmet or something. The only way that would happen is if Eva had put it on, right? I don't think she put it on, did she? But with them living together, she still could plant evidence. But we'll see why she over here confronting Kat about this lady. Derek and Ashley, man, they need to give them a better storyline or something. We shouldn't study see them. Well, I take that back. Maybe they building it up for something bigger. Cause I was about to say every time we see them, they over here they either arguing or whatever, or they even talk. Lord, or either they're talking about how their relationship struggling and stuff like that. They trying to tell him he need to do this, he need to do that. And I said, why is it always on him? I don't know, y'all. But yeah, I said every time we see them, they doing something. I think she said something about going to see a movie and he had plans. Then she felt some type of way. They started trying to check their schedule and stuff, and neither one of them had a schedule that aligned with the other one and stuff. And then Derek ends up asking her, let me make sure. He ends up asking Ashley if she's okay, and she was like, yeah, whatever. But you could tell. Did I read somewhere? Did somebody say that he's supposed to propose to her? I think somebody did say that. Now I don't know how true it is, but yeah, they speculating that he's gonna propose. I think it was a spoiler that said Derek does something to show his love for Ashley. So I was like, they already had lived together or whatever. So do y'all think that it's gonna be a proposal? But yeah, every time we see them, they talk about their relationship, and then next thing you know, here come Andre. Here come Andre. And I think I forgot which one said it, but they were saying how they feel like every time they say something, they basically feel like they walking on eggshells, and if they say anything, then it's gonna affect their relationship or whatever. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, Jacob was telling the detective he wants to lock Leslie up. Feels like she's a threat to public safety because he was mentioning or implying that he only doing that because she hurt his family or whatever, or targeted his family. What else? Let's see. I already said that about Derek. That Carlton dude. I said, he want Nicole, don't he? He want Nicole, don't he? I'ma call it right now. If it ain't Nicole, he gonna end up being involved with evil. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, either I said this Carlton dude. I said when they first introduced him, I don't know if they showed Nicole talking to him or they was all talking together or he asked about her. It was something he did, and I was like, he gonna want Nicole. I said he gonna want Nicole. Why on today's episode he jokingly said he was gonna make a play for Nicole or whatever, and I said, I said you ain't slick. But then that interaction with Eva, I was like, I don't know, y'all. We'll see. I think I just seen that guy. I forgot his name. What was it that I just seen him on? Is it the new Tyler Perry show? I think they showed him on a new Tyler Perry show. Maybe I'm mixing them up with somebody, but who else we got? Oh, Ted, Carlton, Nicole. So they was just talking. Carlton was asking Ted if he managed to get Nicole back yet, and they was talking about that. And he was basically telling him he foolish for letting her go and stuff like that. And that's when she walked up. Ted ends up telling her how good she looked, and then that's when she skedaddled up out of there. That's when she left or whatever. That's when he jokingly was saying how he was telling him he was shocked that he hadn't got her back yet, and just saying if he'll make a play for her or whatever. What else did he say? Hold on, y'all. He just was jokingly saying how he'll make a play for her, saying Nicole may meet a man in yoga class or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you gotta watch people who jokingly make a play about stuff like that. I don't know, maybe it's me. I always say that. I was like, maybe I'm mean, or maybe this is just my thought process or my experience. But it's certain things I feel like you shouldn't joke about, especially about your friends or wife or whatever. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe he's a legitimate friend or whatever. Maybe it's gonna be somebody else they hook him up with. We shall see. But yeah, I do. I think it's certain things you don't joke about. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too serious. What else? Let's see. Um, I already said Martin suggested talking to an editor about giving him another piece. Zach tells Martin Paulo, owner of a corner store in his district, was robbed and assaulted, and that's when he had those flashbacks. Carter said Nicole may meet a man in yoga class. Yeah, we covered that. Mona is still blaming herself about Leslie. She was talking to Kat about it, And Kat was like, it's not your fault or whatever. But then she was like, if you want to help, there's something you could do. She done got this lady to sit up here and call or text Leslie, pretending like she want to restore their friendship and stuff. And she played for as long as she could play. But then she just switched it. She got us some donuts because she knows she liked them donuts. So she had something on the side of her face. She gave her a napkin to wipe her face, and then she made it so she licked her face. Cause at first I was like, What's is it gonna prove it if she just wipe her face like that? But then she ended up licking her face, so that saliva was on there. I was like, oh, okay. I said, okay, Cat. I said, okay, Cat. I said, turn it, going on, be a detective at this point. But yeah, so after she wiped her face with that napkin, Mona stopped pretending. Then Leslie fake got mad and left. Somebody saying, you lower me here. You talk about me being this and that, but you the same way or whatever. But Mona looked like she was feeling some type of way when she said that comment though. But I also feel like Kat wants it too bad that she's gonna mess everything up, because why would you come there? Now I understand you want to get the evidence and all that other stuff, but at the same time, it's like she noticed her as soon as she seen her over there sitting. She seen her. She saw her right there. So then, like I said, Kat came in when they was talking, and then she went sit down. A little while after that, that's when Jacob came sit with her, and she just watching them. But yeah, she got the napkin. They got the napkin after Leslie got mad and left. That's when Kat came over with her black gloves, and she got that napkin and put it in a Ziploc bag. She gonna put it in a Ziploc bag. I was like, girl, cause Jacob was asking her why is he here and stuff like that, cause he knows that she called him there for a reason. And that's when she ends up giving him the napkin. And I was like, yeah, you gonna get caught slipping. You gonna mess everything up because you're too desperate. Anytime you're too desperate for something, you end up ruining it. Hold on, let's see who else we got. Derek and Naomi. I think Naomi had just came out of Bill's room, and she was asking Derek if everything's okay. That's when they went to that place and they was just talking, and she was encouraging him not to give up because this may be the last time. And she was saying how everything with Bill taught her that life is short, so basically fight for Ashley or whatever. So maybe he is about to propose or something else. We'll see. But yeah, that's all they was talking about. Meanwhile, Andre and Ashley talk about the same thing about their relationship and stuff like that. I said they always able to talk to other people before they could talk to each other, and I don't like that. I think that I know you got to give an. I know that's why people have friends. That's why you have friends and stuff like that. But at the same time, if it gets to a point where you confiding in your friends more than you confiding in the person that you're in a relationship with, oh, that's a big problem. But we all know why this is happening, or at least for right now. Because sometimes y'all know I always say this: they introduce a lot of storylines and they completely drop them. But it seems like they're going to, or they want to put Ashley with Andre. Now with Derek, I don't know who they would put Derek with at this point. Who else we got? Let's see. Let me scan these notes, y'all. We already talked about them to help put Leslie away. Ashley and Derek can't get time with each other. They were saying how they out of sync or whatever ever since they moved in together. Oh, Ashley said their short time living together may have caused long-term damage. And I said, well, maybe she right, because them living together definitely exposed the fact that neither one of them really, well, I ain't gonna say that because Derek has been, to me, Derek been trying more than Ashley. But yeah, let's see. Did I write down Ted and Eva? Why scratch it out? Hold on, y'all. I don't scratch out Ted and Eva. And they next to Ted and Eva. So he was just having lunch with her, and she was just complaining about her job and how she really misses working with Nicole and stuff like that. So he ends up offering her a job at his office as the office manager and everything. And she said she hasn't accepted. She was worried about what Kat would say, that she would be upset, and he was basically said she got to get over it. He basically said she got to get over it, and how they need to fill the position. Hold on. And they were saying how he was saying, oh, I keep saying they. He was saying how she'll do a good job because she did a good job with Nicole. And that's when Carson walked up, and that's why I was like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Did y'all what do y'all think about Carson? Let me know down below. I feel like he gonna target Nicole, but then that scene with Eva, I was like, I don't know now. I don't know. Now I would say he too old for her and stuff like that, but when has that ever stopped anybody on this show and in real life? Be for real. But yeah. Oh, I say put Carlton with well, we don't know Carlton yet. We gotta see who he is first. But I was about to say maybe put Carlton with what's her name? Danny, because she really don't want Andre. Let's see. Ashley and Derry already said that part. Eva talks to Ted about missing the job with Nicole, and that's when he offers her the job as office manager. She didn't really agree. She was just worried about um Cat and how she gonna react. I said Cat gonna have a fit. I said you already struggling with your daughter as it is, your other daughter anyways. And I said she finna have a fit. She is finna have a fit. Let me see. Who else we got? Let me scan these notes. Naomi, Derek, we already talked about that. Derek and Naomi talk about life being short. Nicole tells Martin that Anita gonna be out of Martin and Nicole. So Martin ends up stopping by Nicole's place and they got to talking or whatever. So she ends up telling him that Anita gonna be out of town for a while. And they were just talking about that and the articulates reuniting. So then he was like, he wanted to talk to her about these dreams he'd been having or whatever. She was like, she can't be his therapist. And he was like, well, what about as my mom? So they got to talking, and that's when he was telling her about the nightmares or whatever. So she kept asking him questions. He was like, it kind of seemed like he didn't remember. It definitely seemed like he didn't remember. But it seemed like it's gonna involve that detective dude though. It seems like it's gonna involve that detective dude, that Malone dude. It seems like y'all, cause he wouldn't be study trying to tell Smitty, to drop the case or whatever, to drop the project. But yeah, but she suggested that he talk to another therapist because she can't work with him because he's family, and she said choose from one of them. So we'll see. I'm assuming down the line like what really happened instead of just these flashbacks. Um, let's see. I already said Eva wonders how Kat will react or feel about her replacing her. Martin tells Nicole about his dreams. And I had wrote down before I seen the end of the episode, I said, is they trying to get her DNA? Yep, they was trying to get her DNA. Mona ends up telling Leslie that she thinks that they would never be friends again, or they not gonna ever be friends again. I already said dude following Martin again. And the last thing was Kat got Leslie napkin. She got Leslie napkin or whatever, and she gave it to Jacob. So we'll see how it all plays out, y'all. But yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day and be safe.